Hi and welcome in Bruges. That's where we are right now. And I just was thinking to get you already little in the medieval feeling. And hello everyone. To get you already little in the medieval feeling because we are now in Bruges, one of the most pristine places I think in the world where you can on some days really feel that you're going back to the Middle Ages. So just a short introduction, and people that have been doing more tours with me know that I love to have a little a pre-tour, so to say, like in the 15 minutes in advance I can do already, start already. Sometimes I'm just talking to everyone, sometimes I'm using music. I love to find some music that really fits with the tour. So hopefully that worked today. And I'm on my way back from France, and I thought from between France, between Dunkirk, where I was yesterday evening, and Amsterdam, you have one of my favorite cities, and that is the city of Bruges. And I was thinking it's maybe one of the last times that I can go here where there are not a million people, because this is also Bruges is also most uh, one of the most popular places in Belgium, one of the most touristy places in Belgium. And I was thinking maybe it is still not that bad during a weekday, just just a Tuesday. So maybe that works better. And we are lucky. We are really lucky because until 30 minutes ago, some of you have been doing my tour before and know that it was really raining. It was raining a lot. And it was also raining over here in Bruges. So, and that's also, by the way, I'm always bringing the rain to Bruges if I'm coming over here. But the good thing is that tourists don't don't like rain, so they're all inside, and it's also almost the dinner time. So there are not a lot of people on the streets. So that's really the nice thing about this. By the way, my name is Stefan. I'm a guide both in the Netherlands and in Belgium. We'll take you the coming 45 minutes through one of my favorite cities, the city of Bruges, and we're gonna see a lot of medieval places. And I'm gonna, of course, gonna tell you stories, gonna tell you things about what we are seeing, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So hopefully you too. And I think maybe there are some trolls in the tour, so then you know how to report it. So you know how that works. So okay, I'm gonna change the screen, and then we're gonna start the tour. When where we are right now, where we are right now is we are in an area of Bruges that's a little in the southern part of the city, and here at the other side we have part of the beguinage of Bruges, and at this moment it is closed already, and it's closed already. We can see that over here there is the entrance, and normally it's open until 6:30 in the evening. Why is my gimbal not turning? Oh no, oh no. I have an unwilling, wait, just give me one moment. I have an unwilling gimbal. Sometimes it helps to do this. One moment. And it is beautiful, yeah. I'm just gonna turn it on and off. So we're getting a little, this is the theme park, Bruges. Okay, there we are. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there we are again. I think it's now working again. And yes, this is already very beautiful where I'm standing right now. And of course, I'm gonna take you through the city. Hopefully, it stays dry. I see some sun coming through. So let me show you. There are still quite dark clouds, but there is some sun. I even see some blue sky a little further away. So if we're lucky, that's coming more nearby. So, and into, let's walk and go to so I can show you a little better the Beguinage and tell you something about Bruges. Bruges, the medieval city, Bruges, the one of the most powerful cities in the 15th century. So we have to go back a long time, and in the 15th century it was really the golden age of Bruges. But Bruges itself is already a lot older than that. So the first time that Bruges, that people were talking about Bruges, that is written down somewhere, is already in the 9th century. So in the 9th century, the first times people were writing down Bruges. And then people are asking me, like, Stefan, where is that name coming from? What does Bruges mean? And there are several stories. But one of them is that the word Bruges in Viking language, it means harbor. And I will tell you later that Bruges was an harbor. And in the old local language over here, it doesn't mean bridges. No, you would say that, because also the Dutch word for bridge is brug. So it's coming nearby, but it's mooring. It's mooring. So that's what it means. And yes, the architecture is extremely beautiful over here, and a lot of it is from the Middle Ages. And what we see over there, at the other side of the water, is the Beguinage. The Beguinage of Bruges, one of the most beautiful parts. And it's, to be precise, let me tell you the whole name. It is the Princely Beguinage ten Wijngaarden. So, and yeah, there are also a lot of ducks. And not only ducks, by the way, we will see some other animals too soon. But also a lot of ducks for sure. No, but the Beguinage, we have to go for Beguinages. There is not only one in Bruges, also, for example, in Amsterdam and some other areas in this part of the world, you have Beguinages. And this one was founded in 1245, so the 13th century. So it's quite old already. And it was founded by the so-called Beguines. And Beguines are women, are all women, by the way. And all these women were deciding that they did not do the normal Catholic life. The normal Catholic life in that time, while we're looking, by the way, at the swan over there, the normal Catholic life meant that at a young age you were marrying with someone, then you had to get kids, and after that, of course, raising your kids. No, all these women, they were deciding, we don't want that. We don't want to get married. We don't want to have a husband. No, we want to do it different. But at that moment, in the 13th century, that was really not done. Not done at all. So they had to come up with a solution. Yeah, they were the rebels of the 13th century. Yeah, for sure. So they were starting these beguinages, basically just areas that they were just living together behind walls, so the rest of the city could not see them. And that's what happened over here also with this beguinage. Nowadays, it is, by the way, it's still part of the. So sorry. No, nowadays there's still only women living over there, but it's not a beguinage anymore like it was in between the 13th and the 19th century, the end of the 19th century. And I see now that over there it is still open. So let me see if I can just get, and then I will tell you later a little more about all these swans that we have over here. So, and yes, Anna, it is the Dutch word for beguinage is begijnhof. So that's the same as the one in Amsterdam, and some of you have been taking there recently. I think I've only done that one time on a tour. That's all because it was closed during the COVID period. Because also in Amsterdam, there are a lot of older women living over there. So you love this place. Okay, what I'm gonna do in the meantime also is getting my earphones. That's talking a little easier. And it is stunning for sure. Yeah, there is a small church also in the area, as you can see there in the middle. And we will see that when we go inside. Let me see. Connected. Now I can go to the other side. This is the 18th century gate, so that is placed on a later moment. And so it was protected. It was protected, and still nowadays in the evening times they're closing the gate. So normally that is at 6:30. At this moment it's already after 7. So I wasn't expecting that it was still open. So just let's take a little look over here through the gate. It's immediately calm over here. And the four riders of the apocalypse, we will come there later, Anna. So don't spoil it yet. We will be there. But no, don't get locked in. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, then I'm logged in, and nowadays there are about different, 80 different houses, and there are still only women living over here. And originally, the Beguinage, of course, they were separate from the rest of the city. So what they were doing is here in this middle part, where we now have the trees and the grass and some, by the way, some old daffodils. They're not blooming anymore. But originally, this area in the middle, they were using them. They were using this for to grow their own vegetables. So they were growing their own vegetables all over here, and so they were not relying on the city. Also, they had their own animals, for example. So it was not necessary to go into the city of Bruges. And it's also one of the oldest parts of the city. And over here we still have, it is now, by the way, the little part over here is a museum. So one of the little houses they turned into a museum, but all the rest are still in use. So now, and Trudy, that's a good question. Only women, were they nuns? And a lot of people are thinking like, yeah, women living together, that should be a nun, and there's a church. That's all true. So it looks a little like a place where nuns are living, but it is different because all the women over here, they were coming here out of free will, and not because they were believing in a God. Yeah, they were believing in God, but they came here out of free will to say like, okay, I just want another life. I just want another life. So it is a little, exactly, just free. Just free, Marlene, of course. 13th century free at first. By the way, most of the buildings that you see nowadays over here, the white buildings and the church, are from the 18th century, so they are newer. And it's now, by the way, also World Heritage over here, so it's heavily protected, like a lot of parts of Bruges are, and also the Beguinage over here. Okay. Now, not necessarily in an abusive relationship. It could also just be women that didn't want to follow the norm in these times. So, and then here at the other side, you were seeing it already before, there are a lot and a lot and a lot of swans. And for the swans, there is a beautiful story about that. And we have to go back to the time that Maximilian, he was the ruler in a big part of Europe, also in Bruges. He was the Archduke of Austria, by the way, originally, and also he was the king of Belgium at that time. And what happened is, of course, he wanted to have Bruges, because Bruges, in the time that he was living, the end of the 15th century, Bruges was the most rich country in this part of the world. So there was one very rich country, very rich trading city in the south, what we now know as Venice, and Bruges was literally the Venice of the North. We're still sometimes calling it the Venice of the North because of all the water and all the canals and everything, but it was, the trade in the north was going via Bruges. The trade in the south of Europe was mainly going via Venice. Of course, not completely, but so Maximilian wanted to have this city, and he was thinking, okay, such a rich city, so I'm gonna ask very high taxes. And if there's one thing that the people from Bruges did not like, then it was taxes. So they were revolting. Against Maximilian. And what happened is that Maximilian was asking one of his friends to become, and these are not geese, these are swans, Dreamer. No, he was asking one of his friends, a guy named John Langhals, to become the mayor of this place. And then the revolt was going on, and Maximilian came here one day, and then the people from Bruges captured them, both Maximilian but also John Langhals. And what they were doing, is they were while Maximilian here was in the prison, they were bringing John Langhals to the central square, and they were killing him. They were cutting off his head. That was a normal way, of course, in the 15th century. So they were cutting off his head. And Maximilian, he was still the king, and they were saying like, okay, we now did this with your mayor. If you're not stopping with your high taxations, you will be the next. So Maximilian was thinking, okay, just maybe go for that deal. So he was going for that deal. But when he came out of Bruges, he said like, okay, uh, this is this is not going to happen again, because outside of Bruges he was still very powerful. So he was cursing everyone in Bruges. And how he did that, he said like, okay, the Dutch word langhals means long neck. That means long neck. So he was saying, until the end of time, this means that the city of Bruges have to take care of their long necks. And these long necks are the swans that we see over here. And he was also saying the number. He said, like, you have to take care of the 58 swans that we found in the city. So since that time, so the end, at the end of the 15th century, there are 58 swans, and they are taking care of them. The people in Bruges are feeding them. There's even the local government. The local government has someone working for the city, and his or her only job is to make sure that there are enough swans. So if you're coming to Bruges, please be kind to all the swans. I've always been doing that, but still it's always raining when I'm coming here, or it's just after a rain day. Bruges is also famous because of all the horses and the carriages that are going through the city. And this is, I think, a beautiful, by the way, the sun is now coming through. It's even more beautiful. No, there are so many carriages and horses that they have this place for the horses where they can drink. And Joanne, why no people around? That has several reasons. One of the reasons that it has just been raining before, and it is just a Tuesday, and it's not high season yet. So, but most probably this is one of the last times that I can show you Bruges without people, because in a normal touristy season, there are a lot of people over here. Okay. And it was an interesting fountain, yeah, that's for sure. And of course, it's also a city of bicycles. It's the bicycle capital of Belgium, they say. Okay, people coming to Bruges, not only for a lot of things. One of the things that's very popular over here is the chocolate of Bruges. So chocolate is one thing. Another thing is that Bruges has several really amazing beers. And then, of course, also for the things that we see over here. And now, chocolate I'm there. And Robin, yeah, I will hopefully do the chocolate again, because I love that. But that will be for another time. So it's already closed at this moment. I'm late because I had to travel. So and nice to yeah. And so the crowds, of course, are now coming back. And by the way, if you've done some of the tours that I did in the Christmas time, then you know also this place. This is one of the most famous German shops is, by the way, called Kete Wohlfahrt, and they are selling all kind of things from wood. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry. There are so many lace makers. Oh, yeah. I was not even finishing my story. So, chocolate, beer, and lace. That are the three things where people are coming for. So, if you want to see more of these, and also with all these little figures, then you have to come back with me during or around Christmas time when I'm going to Germany again for the Christmas markets. So, but that's another tour. You have to follow me for that. So, and of course, the other souvenirs are all the beers, and also the glasses, of course. The best Belgian local beers. They have thousands of different beers. And then there's also a brewery over here in the middle of the city center. Just at the back over there is a brewer that's, we just see a little part. It's a brewer that's called the Halve Maan, and that means the half moon. And the entrance is, by the way, the official entrance is over there. What we saw was the building where they are still brewing. And I can smell it over here. That's the interesting thing. I can smell it over here. But over there we can see there's a half moon. And that's one of the famous beers that you can get over here. Oh, and more shops where you can get lace. Of course, there's a lot. But let me also show you a little more of the area where we are. We are now on a little courtyard over here. And it's again so calm and relaxed. It's unbelievable. Well, the sun is now coming through. And yes, the horses are normally going over here, over the cobblestones. So you will hear them. If there's a horse, you will hear it for sure, because it's making a lot of sound over these cobblestones with your carriage. And then over there, some other beautiful buildings from the 16th century. The ones over there will let me go. Too bad that there are cars parked over here. That's the only thing. Your brother was born there in 1065. Marlene, then your brother is quite old. So I'm just getting through this small street, very small street, and that's also one of the things that you always see in medieval towns. Now let me get, oh, I don't, the contrast is a little hard. You can see the tower, and it's a cool corridor, yeah, for sure. It's getting wider over here. Oh, just a little wider. And in these small corridors, there are all kind of galleries, and of course places where you can have chocolate. So, for example, in here, Chocorito. There's chocolate inside the name. Okay, so I'm just getting to the end of this little street. Most probably it will be a little more busy over here because it's the shopping street, although it is already, most of the shops are closed. And I want to take you to the next place. We're going to the big church over there, the Church of Our Beloved Lady. One of the big churches, of course, in Bruges. There are several ones. And talking about chocolate, look at this. A very cute dog, and some bunnies and ducks and everything. And my favorite one is the one over there where you can see Duvel. Duvel is a beer brand. So if you can now have, especially for men, because men most of the time love chocolate a little less, so they have a beer version of they have a chocolate version of the beer. So that's a nice way. Okay, let's go on. There's more to see. And the thing is, there are in Bruges about 50 different places where you can get chocolate. So this is also a very famous one. Hello, I can wave at you. What they have, uh, 50 chocolatiers, and that means you can be a chocolatier if you are making the chocolate yourself. So all of them over here, all these 50 are making the chocolate themselves. And just to give you a little feeling, look at this. This is heaven. This is chocolate heaven. Oh, I love the Lego version that we have over here. That's the best Lego I can think of. And inside, they have a lot more. So that's the nice thing in a shop like this. You can just go inside and then ask like, oh, I want 2 of these and 5 of these and 4 of these. So, and before you know, your kilos are rising. Exactly. Before you know, you have to pay extra when you're taking your flight back. True. Here on the site, this is one of the other medieval buildings, and this is part of the old hospital, Sint Jan's Hospital, and it's just next to the water. And maybe we can take just a little peek inside. No, Robin, I did not do a kayak tour over here. That's not allowed. That was the other Belgian city. That is the city of Ghent. And then the Church of Our Beloved Lady with one of the highest towers, at least the highest tower in Bruges, 120 meters high, a little over 120 meters. So what's that? Is about 400 feet in total. And by the way, this is also interesting. Here at the site, I don't see them at this moment, but they are digging up here. So they're digging in the ground because they found several graves over here. So they have been digging up the graves, and it was I was just seeing that in one of the newspapers. Okay, let me first go just a peek. And Susie, nobody is allowed to go there. So look at this. We're now entering St. Jan's Hospital. One of the, for me, I think, hidden gems. If you don't know this place, you can see the name here on the top. St. Jan's Hospital, a 13th century hospital, because Bruges was already a big city, was a famous city, so they needed a hospital, and they got one of the biggest, well, we hear the church bells chiming, by the way. They got one of the biggest hospitals in that time of this part of the world. And you can see it all around over here. It's really, oh, it's beautiful with the sun now. Let me just do one vertical shot. So, and there's a beautiful statue also of 2 monks over here. And yes, it is a very nice building. And not only the building, also they still have, and that was also originally here in the middle, a botanical garden. So there is a botanical garden that was originally used to make all kind of medicine. And we still have a small, exactly, the pharmacy was in the middle. And there's still some plants growing over here to get that feeling of the pharmacy. Yeah. Look how beautiful it is with the blue sky. And yeah, apotheek is it saying in Dutch. It's the Dutch word for pharmacy. And then over here we have these 2 monks. together, and it's a beautiful statue. And it really gives the feeling of how it was over here. While we're looking also at the other tower, one of the other towers. There's so many towers and a belfry and everything. So okay, and I love these little details like what we see over here on the side. We see Maria. Okay, let's go out again through the gate outside, and then I'm gonna show you the area around the Church of Our Beloved Lady, and that's one of my favorite parts of the city. And you can really see like how medieval this is looking. I mean, in these times, a hospital needed protection. I mean, you never know when the army came here. Of course, they wanted first to rob, or one of the first things that they wanted to rob all the medicine, the pharmacy. So it was also very well protected. Okay, I'm going to the other side to show you around the church. And what I'm doing with this tour is just giving you a little feeling of Bruges. So there are so much more detail that I can show and that I can tell, but it's only 45 minutes, so just wanna show you some of the highlights. And yes, originally all the churches, Sean, had a cemetery. Yeah, and most of the time the rich people were buried inside the church, and the poor people who could not afford it were buried around. And that's, by the way, it's a good question, because then I can tell you something about that. In Dutch, we have the saying that someone is stinkend rijk. That means stinky rich. So filthy rich. It's almost the same in English, by the way. Filthy rich. And this is all related to these churches, because imagine that someone that was very rich in the old times was dying. Let's say the 12th or 13th century. So someone was dying on a Monday. Then what they were doing, of course, they were showing the body one or two times, and then on the third day, let's say on the Wednesday, they were burying it inside the church. So and then when the mass was there, and it could also be, by the way, on a Thursday or on a Friday, and then when the next mass was there on a Sunday, then the people coming inside the church, they were saying like, it's stinky over here. This is really filthy. And what were they smelling? They were smelling the filthy rich people that were just buried before, in the days before. So they say that the expression in Dutch, stinkend rijk, stinky rich, or filthy rich, is originally coming from the fact that rich people were buried in the church and that other people coming there were smelling them. Filthy rich. Okay, let's go outside to one of my favorite locations. So we're going again through one of the gates at the back part, and this was originally the gate to the cemetery. So we're getting onto holy ground on the cemetery. By the way, also one of the things that I'm telling a lot, and it's not what you can see here so much, but in a lot of churches all over the world, or mostly in European countries, of course, you have the cemetery, and that is around the church, but they were using this cemetery sometimes for hundreds of years. And if you are using a cemetery for hundreds of years, and every year you're burying more and more bodies, then after a while, the of course the ground is coming up, because you're adding every time a body to the ground. So what you see in a lot of places is that the cemetery around, or the area around the church, is a little higher. It can be like 30, 40, 50 centimeters, sometimes a meter. And that is because of all the bodies that have been placed under there originally. Okay, over here we see, by the way, at the right side, there is a really beautiful palace, and at the left side, we have the church. And Delors, that's a good question. How many people live in the city? At this moment, it is less than 100,000. So it's not a very big city. It was one of the biggest cities in Western Europe. Almost as big, imagine that, almost as big, almost as much inhabitants as Paris. So that's unbelievable. We have to go back to the 15th century for that. At that time, it was one of the biggest cities. Now, the right side, thank you, Olga. The right side, we see a palace, and that's nowadays the Groothuizen Museum. And at the left side, we see the church. And the interesting thing is that this are there hops? Catherine, you know what what goed means? That's good. That's good. I will tell you. I will tell you. No, what you see over here is that the house at the right side is directly connected to the church, and that is quite unique. That's normally never happening. So, what happened over here is that the family Groothuizen, they were living here at the right side. And goed is an old word. It is the way how beers were made in the times before we had hops. Nowadays, one of the main ingredients of beer is hops, but there was a time that we didn't invent that yet. So they were using a combination of herbs, and that combination of herbs was called goed. And the owner of the house over here at the right side, that owner, he had the monopoly in Belgium, or in this area, he had the monopoly on the goed. So and of course, in these times, everyone was drinking beer. So he made a lot of money. He made so much money that he could afford to build a palace just next to the church, and even had his own entrance. Because in these times, the more nearby the church you are living, the more nearby God you are living. Thank you, Susie and Hans. And look at this area over here. This is really one of my favorites. This feels like the Middle Ages, isn't it? And it's so calm also right now. We're lucky. We're lucky with the weather, lucky with just a Tuesday. Normally it is full with people on this bridge. And not only the bridge is beautiful, also the houses here at the other side. The houses here at the other side, there's still people living over here, by the way. So this is a very dreamy place. Oh, and there's also a swan coming at the end. Can you see it? Now the houses here are from the Middle Ages, so they are from the 15th century, 14th or 15th century, and they're still used. So there's still people living over there. And what they did is originally there was no bridge, and then in the 19th century they decided to get a bridge from the square at the other side to the place over here, and that's the bridge that we see over here. So this is 19th century. The only thing is that sorry, no, the only thing is that it looks like it is a lot older, but it's not. It's only in the same style. It's good to hear that you already have a lot of postcards. Okay, and let me just show you some more. We now have the swan coming nearby. The coots are making fun together, or they're scared for the swan. That is also possible. Dank je. Okay, at the other side, I'm going through a little gate again, part of this house. That was a swan. That was a swan, Paula. Another swan. Okay, have to be a little careful here, because it can still be a little slippery. Yeah, it was a swan. I don't know the type of swan, so I'm not that good in swans. So, okay, over here in the middle, we see there are two pillars, and these pillars are from a place that used to be the center, the city center of Bruges. So what happened is that originally Bruges was next to the river. That's also why we have all the water, and that river was there, and there was a lot of trade coming in, and the trade was coming in and it was ending in a place in the heart of the city center, and where the boats could get under the house. So it was the main place where they were trading. But what happened in the 15th century? It was really this place was the most powerful, the most rich. But from the 16th century on, what happened is that the river over here, the Scheldt River, was getting more and more sandy. So um, the boats had more and more problems to get all the way to the city center. So, and at the same time, there was also, of course, another war. So some of the rich traders and merchants over here, they were saying like, no, we're not gonna stay in Bruges anymore, because yeah, we almost cannot trade here anymore. So what they did is they moved their business to another city in Belgium, the city of Antwerp, very nearby, by the way, very nearby, and that's where they were going to with their uh, with their business. So from in the 15th century it was Bruges, and then in the 16th century Antwerp became the most powerful city in this area. It's not even that far away, but the main reason is that the river over there was still open and not like the one in Bruges. So the how do you say the one is dying and the other one is taking over. So another one is successful. I don't know the English expression for that. In Dutch, we're saying the een zijn dood is de ander zijn brood. The death of the one is the bread for the next one. That is between. And Natalie, you know this expression, so I don't know it in English. I'm not trying to think. And this happens, by the way, it's also the connection with Amsterdam in the end. So it's the connection with Amsterdam in the end. 15th century it was Bruges, 16th century it was Antwerp, and then at the end of the 16th century, the Spaniards were taking over Antwerp, and then all the trade was going to Amsterdam. So the same traders or the same families of traders started in Bruges, moved to Antwerp, and then 100 years later, again they moved, and then to Amsterdam. So the money was going north step by step. Sorry for my Dutch expressions that nobody understands. But basically, when one city is getting less powerful, another is taking it over. The successor is taking it over. Okay, we're now getting, by the way, following the whole time the water. So I'm following the river. And we're going downstream the whole time. And I don't know what type of tree you are talking about, Paula. So there are so many trees over here. At least the one at the other side is a willow. That's what I know. And we also have here at the other side some newer buildings. This is very typically 19th century, more in the Parisian style. Oh, and this is in front of me. I don't know, there are 5 of them just walking in front of me. Now here at the other side we have a beautiful willow, and I want to take you to the last part for this tour for today. And what I said already earlier, I'm only showing you little tidbits of the city. There's so much more that I can show and that I can tell, but yeah, we don't have the time for that. I will be for sure back in Bruges. I will be for sure back in Bruges we hear the church bells later this year. And when I will be back, I can do maybe 2 or 3 rows behind each other so I can show you different parts of the city. But for now, I don't have the time for that. So, Catherine, follow me if you didn't follow me yet, and I'll be back here for sure because there's a lot more that I don't have the time now to show you. It's a nice boat on the river. Yeah, these are the tourist boats, by the way. So, thank you, Sarai. And it is like a painting, even more with these typical, with these beautiful uh, clouds on the back. So, and with some some wild animals, typical Belgian doves. Janice, the only thing is that you have to realize that it's now very calm, but it that will not take very long anymore. It will be very busy again with a lot of tourists. So if you're living over here, you have everyday people that want to see your house or stopping in front of your house. So, and it's cold. Yeah, it's cold and rainy. So that's one of the other things. And over here, by the way, at the other side, most of these buildings that you see, all in Gothic style. So not the neo-Gothic that I was showing you earlier, but it's all in Gothic style. And that was, in that time, the most famous town. So this is not a church. All of these places, also what we see over here at this side, were the rich, or the houses of the rich traders. So they had the money to build places like this. And over there, we have another beautiful tree. Thank you, Corinne and Mario and Alain. But I want to take you to the area, to the place where, if you look at the statistics of Instagram, this place is where most of the pictures are taken. And I will show you why. This is already beautiful, isn't it? It is like a painting. Yes, and bet next time I can also take you to the windmills. But for that, I have to be the whole day in Bruges. Then I can do 3 tours in a row. 2 of the city center and 1 of the windmills, for example. I think we are quite lucky. Now you can see over here already that everyone is taking the same picture. So there's a whole line of people standing there, all taking selfies. And I will show you why. And I haven't seen it this beautiful before in the times that I was here. Also, the water is so calm. It is like a mirror. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Or in Dutch we say prachtig, prachtig, prachtig. Okay, let me get you over here with the reflection. Oh, there is, of course, also a little sun. Wait, let me see if I can just get out of the sun. Wait. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it the other way. So look at this. This is the postcard everyone wants. So beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't fit completely in my screen, but you can see it, and it's the water is now really like a mirror. It's unbelievable. Wow. You see the boats laying. Normally, these are the places, or these are the locations where most of the tourists are taking a boat ride over the canals. That's one of the things that almost everyone is doing. No voice now. Okay, I don't know. Sit still. You can still not. Oh, that's why Paula was saying, all I heard was quack, quack, quack. Oh, it's fine. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I can do some more minutes. And yes, it is beautiful for sure. I can do maybe 3, 4 more minutes so I can show you a little other parts. This is the other side, by the way, where we see again our beloved lady. At the other side, by the way, behind the tree, there's one of the most beautiful hotels and also the most central hotel in Bruges. In the medieval style, also the inside. So it feels like you're getting into an old inn or so. Okay, so let me take you over the little market over here. When I was here a year ago, there was literally nothing. Now tourists are coming back, still not a lot. Maybe I can eat something here before I have to drive back because I'm more than 2 hours away from Amsterdam, 2.5 hours. So it's a long ride back. But let me just show you a little more as a sort of sneak peek for the next time that I'm coming back, when I can show you more. And some more lace, of course, everywhere. Over here we have the old fish market on the side. We were just walking over the little market that was the meat market. And over here we have the fish market. And then at the side, beautiful building. And Trudy, no, my wife is not here joining me. So I was now just one night in a hotel in Dunkirk. And then I will be back later this evening. And look how beautiful this is again. Thank you, Wendy. Look again with the sky. Look. And I hope you have that feeling now also a little of this medieval city. And the last part is over here when we're getting through another gate. We didn't have enough gates yet, so let me try to do another. Oh, wait, I'm seeing something that I want to try to do. Okay, just let me do this first. One moment. This is beautiful, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna try something else because there's a puddle over here. So I'm gonna turn you completely around. And then we have this. Look at this. We're now almost in the water with a double gate. Perfect reflection. Please post this one on Facebook or somewhere because I want to have this for myself. This is luck. The luck of just having. Wait. Oh, now it's not working anymore. Yeah, that's the only thing. My gimbal cannot handle this. Now, this is also cool. People from this perspective. Okay, that's a tour. Do you see the tourists are back? Okay, last one is there in the side. Oh, this is more how it normally feels in Bruges. So the magic is gone. The magic is gone. But please share that picture on the Facebook group or send it to me or my Facebook group. I want to have that one with the reflection. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rain, also for the tip. Appreciate it. While we're going through the gate, the tourists found me. Yeah, for sure. There are a lot. Okay. A last little peek of where we are right now. Why are all the umbrellas red? I think it's a group. I don't know. So they don't, they know where the others are. But over here we have the beautiful court building on the side with all this gold. The beautiful Baroque building. 18th century, by the way, so it's not as old as a lot of the other buildings. And then here at the right side, thank you, Janet and Leslie, we have the most beautiful city hall there is in Belgium, I think. Uh, the city hall of Bruges, a beautiful Gothic style. You see the flags on top. Oh, we really had a lot of people. Look at this. This is how it, by the way, normally is in Bruges. Thank you, Joyce and Wayne. Now we see over here the amazing city hall, designed in the 13th century. And after designing, all the architects in Belgium were coming here to see this building, and it became, they were getting the ideas, and we're building all over Belgium city halls in the same style. So, but it shows how rich Bruges was in its time. And then he's trying to get a little away from the group. They're now taking a picture. It's like a cathedral. Yeah, it's really a Gothic building again. So you see the Gothic elements where it looks like a cathedral. But the real cathedral is over there in the corner, or the real church is over there in the corner with the entrance, with the golden statues that we see over there. And at the back there's a big church, but that's maybe for another tour. So thank you, Susan. And thanks also for the compliments. By the way, a last thing that we see over here, you see that there are several flags hanging. One is from the European Union, then the second one is from Belgium. The third one is from Flanders, the area in Belgium where we are. And the one at the right that you see now the best is the flag of Bruges itself. And we're listening to the church bells of the Belfry Tower over there. You just see it coming above the building. Oh, there's also the sun now again. That's I think I've shown enough. I'm going to get some food. The church bells are chiming as a sign that I have to stop this tour. It's almost 8 p.m. So I will for sure come here again. Let me show you my face. So thank you all for joining today. And I'm going to have some food. I'll be back for sure. If you like this tour, then please follow me. That can somewhere in the top or the bottom of your screen. And also thank you for all the tips. That's really the only way how I can keep on doing this. So I'll be back for sure. But of course, for me, it is traveling 2.5 hours to get here. So thank you for joining, and I hope to see you again. I think my next tour will be in Amsterdam. So I'll be back in Amsterdam because I haven't been doing for a very long time just a normal Amsterdam tour. So I think this Friday I will have just an Amsterdam, the history of Amsterdam, the other Venice of the North, and I'm going to show you several beautiful parts. And I'm thinking about maybe I can. Uh, uh, oh no, it's just too late. Okay, forget it. No, but there are several really beautiful parts that I can show you over the Canal District and some other parts. So I hope to see some of you again on Friday. And for now, I'm gonna say goodbye when I'm showing you the last part of now a calm place again. And it's time for a beer. Now I still have to drive, Graciela, so 2.5 hours. So, and the thing is with Belgian beers, they're very strong all the time. So that's not a good idea before driving. At home, I will have one. I will buy one to bring home. Promise that. Thank you for joining. Bye bye. And it's 8 o'clock now. Thank you, Janine and Joanne and Gil. And it's the blue sky now.
Thank you, Carol.